Emma's Universe podcast. Emma's Universe podcast. Emma's Universe podcast. Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. Yes, it is Friday. Yippee-ki-yay. What are we going to be talking about? So for Friday, we're going to be talking about... Good question. Oh yeah, it's going to be... it's funny because this week has been a little dip when it comes down to thoughts and really bring stuff the universe wants to talk about. But let's talk about rising without a map. Yes, trusting the journey when the path isn't clear. Oh, that fits very perfectly for my life, actually. This is quite funny. So let's get started. So, setting out on a hike without a map, unsure where the path leads, but trusting each step. Yes. Have you ever been in a season where you didn't know the next step, and yet something inside urged you forward? So we're going to introduce the theme of rising without certainty. Yes, that sounds interesting, but I would say my entire life has been rising without a map, because I still did not have a map. I had to go, I knew I had to go, I had to do things. I listened to my gut feeling, to my inner self, or higher self, both inner and higher self. But it's been very interesting to talk about this because it is a little bit unnerving at some point when you see people who have their map, already there and they're going where they need to be. And you're like, well, I have no idea where I'm going, but I'm going to go in that path right here, and I'm just going to do one step at a time and see how it goes. So let's talk about the fear of not knowing. Again, this is, I would say, one of the typical things, the not knowing. Oh, goodness gracious. If we knew everything, life would be awesome, but that's not the case in every way. So let's explore human need for control. Plans, goals, timeline. We've been kind of wired, and with our upbringing, to see that we need the time, we need to have goals, we need, ask your parents, what kind of goals you have in life? I have no idea, and most of the people will say, well, I don't know. Well, they're going to give it to you one, and you will have their plan. But it's very interesting when you start to unplug compared to the human need of always knowing everything and controlling and micromanaging. Now, let's talk about share the discomfort of uncertainty, because this is the one thing that most people dislike, is the uncertainty. It's how it feels like being lost in a fog, not knowing what's going to happen next, and you have to do one thing. I will talk about it, which is trusting. But the uncertainty is something that really makes people worry, except entrepreneurs, people who are daredevils. Entrepreneurs, they don't care. They're like, oh, let's do it. Let's move it forward. Let's take that big leap of faith. But for the majority of people, you would sound like you're insane. You lost your mind. What is wrong with you? I do not want to be in that discomfort, because I want to have my little world padded like it is supposed to be. Now we need to reframe uncertainty, because uncertainty is not failure, but fertile ground for possibilities. That is something we need to understand. Being uncertain of what's going to happen tomorrow, not seeing the bigger picture, but it can make us uncomfortable, but these give us the possibilities. This is where endless possibility shows up at the door. Now, let's talk, and that's one thing I talked a little faster on this one, a little quicker, should I say, is trusting the inner compass. Yeah, trusting ourselves, trusting the gut feeling that we've got. Not what people are saying. Yeah, I'm going to let it sink for you guys. Not what people are saying, but what you feel. How often have you taken an advice from somebody that happened to be the wrong one, and you knew it, without seeing the red flag? Now, let's talk about the contrast of MAP. You have your external guidance, rigid plans, with compasses, which the compasses is internal directions, value, and intuition. So, let's talk about this, because I talked a little bit about the external guidance, which could be somebody else's agendas. It could be a plan you've got, and you need to go to school, you need to do this, that. You have a plan, and you have to follow the plan. Now, let's share a little practice to strengthen the inner compasses, which is silence, self-inquiring, values clarification. Yes. When you're looking for answers and guidance, it's not in the middle of the chaos. It's grounding ourselves, quiet ourselves. So, again, I talked about on the previous podcast this week about self-care, walking, taking a breather, thinking about something else so the answer will come to you. How often I got that happening when I was looking at problems all day long and I go and do my yoga. In the middle of the yoga, I got the answer that came in. Or I'm walking and I say, okay, universe, I need this answer. I have a question for you, I need that answer. And within 2 hours, somehow over the rainbow, the answer comes. But you have to calm yourself down. You have to ground yourself. You cannot be trying to, and that happens quite often, trying to find answers when you're all jaded and it's like it's going left, right, middle, and center, and you're just not good at all. So, now, think about people who lost their career direction but leaned on intuition to create new paths. That is something that is amazing. When you follow the direction of your gut feeling, even if it sounds crazy, there is a lot of people who say, oh my God, you're insane, you lost your job and you're going to do this, you're going to start your own business, but blah, blah, blah. And they know deep inside of them, they have what it takes. They're going to go in that journey and they're going to rise up. How often have you seen J.K. Rowling, I think, when she did her books, she wasn't in a great place either in her life, and the books that she wrote about the Harry Potters really were the books that created the success of who she is. But that was because of a turn of event, and she did that, and I think she was not doing well actually financially and stuff like that. So think about a situation where things are not going well, but somehow over the rainbow you get a leg up. Perfect synchronicity come along and you got that opportunity of a lifetime. You follow your gut feeling. You go somewhere, you're like, I need to go there for some reason. And all of a sudden it gets you the opportunity you needed or whatever you needed. I will encourage listeners to recognize signs along the way because opportunity, nudges, coincidences, perfect synchronicity, whatever happened in your life that blow your minds away. And you're like, oh my goodness gracious, I did not realize that, but I did it. Like I said on the previous podcast was a contract that I landed, and they were supposed to, have other interviews. This is what you do when you do contracts. You work as a contractor. And I just waited 24 hours, actually. I had it on Wednesday. I said, I need to write mine. I said, I will do it in the morning, which I did the next day. I waited the next day. And the answer I got, we'll give you an answer by next week. Okay, no problem. I just sent that email. I got that answer. And within 2 hours, I heard I was hired. But the lady said, next week, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm okay, I'm good. I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to do anything. That's just fine by me. You do what you want to do. I am fine. But it was very interesting. Just writing that thank you email. I knew I needed to do it. There is sometimes I don't do it, but most of the time I do it for a reason. when you follow your gut feeling. Maybe you say thank you to somebody. Maybe you're going to go somewhere and going to see somebody that you knew. And you're going to start to chat and you just open up somehow and say, well, I just lost my job. I'm looking for another one. And the person said, well, by the way, we have a new position open. Let me connect you. What's your, do you still have your number? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to connect you with the HR person, and you got somebody who give you a leg up, who get you hired. You never know. If you don't follow your gut feeling, your gut instinct, follow it because it's a sign. This is your invisible map. This is where the unknown worked. This is where we need to tap in. And most of the time, people don't. And it's like, come on. But think about a situation where you get an opportunity, a nudge, and a coincidence that happened to you. And you're like, holy crap. Things happen for a reason. Think about it. You will be surprised when you start to rethink about a situation like that it's like, holy crap, I cannot believe it. It's like, those are the proof. The proof is in the pudding. Well, so let's do that. So, yeah, it's just amazing to see that journey. It's just amazing to see everything that happens and being amazed by it. And you hear stories like that all the time when you're listening to some people who are in a spotlight and they share their stories. You're like, holy crap. But even think about your own. You'll be, as I said, a little things. Maybe I remember Belinda, my friend Belinda, who was my realtor. And when I interviewed her, I liked the vibes. I liked her very much. And we saw 3 houses. I think it was one in Edina, one in Bloomington. I didn't like it, I think. There was number 3. Then I was looking at it. There was another one. And I didn't like it. And she said, well, no, Maria, don't do that. But I have a condo that I'm going to be putting in sales. So it didn't even went on sales. And she was ready to put it on the market. And then she said, well, why don't you drive by? And I'm like, okay, not a problem, because we visited something I didn't like it. I'm like, I do not like this. I don't want to be there. Well, when I drove down that street, I'm like, holy crap, this is totally different. This is more European. Everything was so different. This place is extremely unique, the way it was designed, everything they've done. And when I walked in, I'm like, I sat down, I kept a poker face, and I'm sitting down, and inside of me, I was like, that's your home. That's it. So within a couple of appointments, we found my home. That was it. And she was the one, who just said, oh, I normally don't do that, but I have this one right there. And I'm like, okay, let's go see it. Here we go. Coincidence, perfect synchronicity? Absolutely. That was awesome, actually. That was awesome. So, but think about on your side, what has come to you that you don't even realize that? Or what follows you, your instinct to do something or to go somewhere where at the end of the day was just a pure bliss at the end of the day. So, and people are not talking about it that much, but you should. So your internal direction, value, and intuition should be the one you should count the most on it. The contrast maps, the external, it's a guidance. It doesn't mean you have to take everybody else's advices, because a lot of people make that mistake. Rigid plans can soften a little bit too, because you're going to learn that you're going to have to be quote-unquote flexible, which most people don't. So that's the interesting part of it. Now, let's talk about the courage in the unmarked path, because I think this one is the key. We talked about a lot of things, but when you start to hit the unknown, then this is where you're going to need to figure it out. And I'm going to emphasize that rising into is not into and is not about knowing everything, but it's about choosing to move anyway. So that's where we have to become more flexible when we are moving. Rising is not about knowing everything. We don't. Okay? Rising up, it's one step at a time, and the universe, aka God, depends on which way we're going, which step. This is why it's very interesting, because when you move along, when we're taking a different road, you are creating that road. You're creating what's coming next. So you're not going to have a full view. You just have the next step, and the next step, and the next step. This is what it's all about, because you're the one directing and moving into that direction. We're talking about resilience in uncertainty. Yeah, learning to pivot, to embrace mistakes or setback, redefining progress. You know, in a world we're in, some have an easy path than others. But you're going to be faced with challenging into the uncertainty. And this is where you have to learn to be flexible, to pivot when necessary, embracing our setbacks. Because for me, mistakes are not failure. Failure is to give up and not doing anything. This is the biggest failure you can ever do in your life. But a setback is a teaching moment. If that door did not open, this is God's safety for you. It's not a failure. It's a learning. And if you listen and scan yourself, you would have known. I have known many times when things were not the way it's supposed to be. They were showing something different. And my gut feeling said, I'm not like this. I don't want that contract because I don't feel it's right. I don't like this because I feel this way. Something is telling me to do not meet that person face to face. This situation is not kosher. Something is off. I always listen to my gut feeling. And the few times I did not, and I listened to people, then I was right. I'm like, yeah, I paid the price. I'm accountable for my actions. I don't blame people because I took advices that were not for the highest good of that situation because people will not know better than I do. When I talk to people and I do some of the coaching as well, I don't tell them what to do. I show them a couple of paths, ideas. It's you at the end of the day who's making that action, that decision, not me. You can go left, you can go right, it's up to you. I used to be irritated a long time ago because I could see people making mistakes and you want to stop them. But you start to realize this is their journey. So if they decide to go left instead of right, it is their monkey, it is their circus. That is it. You have to embrace everything. And you can redefining the progress by what you're doing. Progress is not you reach your goal or you need to do this and that. Progress is moving forward. It may be a teeny bitsy step at the end of the day, but this is what it should be. Now, we can offer practical mindset shift, like replacing, I don't know with, I'm learning. Remove the negativity, because it's negative, I don't know. So it's like, okay, you don't want to know, we're not going to let you know. But I'm learning. So if I'm learning, I'm going to go messy. And learning is a good way to see what we're doing. You shift by, it's not a failure, it's not a failure, it's a setback, first of all. It's a setback to teach me something. This wasn't opening, this did not work well because it wasn't meant for me. Something better is coming, but I took that direction to learn, okay, that's not working, let's move on to the next one. Explore. That's why being flexible, when we do things, becoming flexible is so important. I feel that being too rigid doesn't work very well. We used to do waterfall at work. And waterfall is somebody is giving you the direction and you follow the direction no matter what. Now we go more what we call it agile. Agile will be like flexible. So agile is we're going to learn, things going to work, things not going to work, but we're going to learn from it because we learned that going that direction wasn't the best one. That wasn't the best way to do things, but we learned that we can do better than that by being more flexible, opening our mind, changing our perspective. You change your perspective, your outer conditions start to change. That's what we do. And that's something that most people should learn to do. I love my daddy. My daddy likes to disturb me right now, which is awesome. Because it's going to be time to go eat. That's what they want. Yes. But think about it, how to rephrase things. When you start to rephrase to I cannot, blah, blah, to I can, I am doing it. But I'm doing it my way. And I'm going messy because I'm going to learn. I'm learning. I'm a student of life. So let's learn. Let's learn something new today. That will help you. You know, to recap all of this, we may not always have a map, and that is so true, but we always have an inner compass, and we need to start to use it. A lot of people are not using it. It's like, come on, use it, because it's going to guide you in some path, on some path. You have no idea how exhilarating, how fun it is, unless you let your inner compass do the job. I'm inviting you to imagine yourself taking one courageous step forward, even without seeing the whole path. Something within you is going to wake up. Something that's going to want to excite you. Something that you're going to feel alive, actually. I have never felt as much alive when the day I decided to file to get my business officially running. And I'm like, holy crap, it is official. And I was like, I cannot believe it. The way things were changed from being more stricter to being more flexible, things have shifted. That's amazing. But I don't have that on map, and I don't care. I'm following my inner compass because I know I'm following it, because the map never existed in my book to start with. Because I don't fit in any maps. I just follow the compass to go in that journey of self-discovery, which is so much fun, actually, at the end of the day. It is so hilarious and so much fun. It's like, holy crapola. So, just to let you know that the unknown is not a void, it's a canvas. And you need to trust your rising. The way will reveal itself. And it's so true, because you're the co-creator. And I think people don't realize that when you start to be on a co-creator path, you may see a goal, but how you're going to get there is what is magical. Maybe you don't have a goal or don't see the goal, but you're going to go and follow your instinct. There is people who start their business every day, and they follow that without a full map, because they know they are meant to do it. And they will be supported along the way to make it happen. So think about where you are in your life and what are you using currently? Are you using a map that is rigid, that was drawn by somebody else telling you what to do, where to move? Or are you willing to take a leap of faith? Trust your inner compass. Trust your gut feeling on everything you do. You will be surprised when you listen to it, how things change for the better. And learn that that compass is the only north you've got that really gets you going and is unbiased. That means if something, even if you want it, if your ego say, I want it, but your inner voice, your compass say, no, listen to the compass and follow on the path you're supposed to. You'll be surprised to see what's happening. And you got to learn more and more to trust your gut feeling, to trust that compass to guide you, because that compass is only there to guide you. It's not there to set you up for failure. It's there to guide you into the right direction, into the right alignment. This is so essential. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people ignore that and going to listen to others will heal intentions, because you always have people around you who will be jealous of what you do, what you say, or blah, blah, blah. Whatever is their problem because of their insecurity, just don't listen to those individuals. Just follow your path. Follow the flow and the direction that your inner compass is giving it to you. It is so critical. I would highly encourage everybody to really test your compass. And you can play with it. You can play with the compass, with your gut instinct, on simple questions. You can ask, and you will have an answer. You know when you meet people that you cannot trust. You know when you know situations are not going to be good. You know instinctively. Use that every day. You'll be surprised within 6 months or a year how many things change in a positive way in your life. It's amazing. Transformation. It's amazing to really becoming whole again, in being excited about new adventures in your life. That to me is amazing. So that's what I will encourage you, all of you, to do actually as well, and really give it a chance and follow your gut feeling, your gut instinct. It's never wrong. It's always right. I'm telling you. So, All my love, guys. Have a beautiful Friday, beautiful weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Podcast.